It's been all over the news lately. A small-town police chief is under fire for a hiring decision that has everyone talking. The story starts with a recent move by the local police department to bring on a new officer. This wouldn't usually be big news, but this time, the person they hired is an immigrant who, in the past, tried to buy a gun without the right paperwork. That's not just against the rules, it's actually against the law. People are now wondering, how did someone with that kind of record end up wearing a police badge? The man at the center of all this came to the US a few years back, hoping for a better life. Like a lot of newcomers, he struggled to figure out the system here. Somewhere along the way, he made a serious mistake. He tried to buy a gun before he was legally allowed to. He got caught, faced the consequences, and after that, he started working hard to change things for himself. After that incident, he kept his head down and focused on doing better. He found steady work, made friends in his new town, and really started to turn things around. So when the police department posted an opening, he decided to go for it. A lot of people thought it was a risky move, but he believed he had learned from his past and was ready to help his community. The decision to hire him didn't go unnoticed. Some folks in town felt like the department was giving someone a second chance, and that everyone makes mistakes. But others were worried. They questioned whether someone who broke the law, even once, should be allowed to enforce it. Pretty soon, this wasn't just a local story. News outlets across the country were asking questions, and people online were picking sides. This whole situation has really got people thinking. Is it possible for someone to truly make up for a past mistake? Should breaking the law automatically close certain doors forever? And is it fair to judge someone only by their worst moment, or should we give people a chance to prove they've changed? These are big questions, and the town, and the country, are divided on the answers. When the questions started pouring in, the police chief knew he had to speak up. He didn't shy away from the cameras or the tough conversations. Instead, he took a seat in front of the reporters and explained exactly why he decided to hire someone with a past mistake. The chief said he saw something in this man that went beyond one bad decision. He saw someone who owned up to what he did, learned from it, and put in the work to do better. According to the chief, the hiring process wasn't easy or rushed. There were a lot of interviews and background checks. The chief said they looked at everything, not just the mistake, but the years after. He pointed out that the man didn't try to hide what happened. He was open and honest about his past, which showed real character. The chief believes everyone deserves a second chance if they prove they've changed, and he felt that's exactly what happened here. Another point the chief brought up was about what it really means to protect and serve. He explained that being a police officer isn't just about having a perfect record. It's about understanding people, helping those who are struggling, and making the community stronger. The chief felt that someone who's had tough times, and found a way through them, can actually connect with people on a different level. Maybe, he said, that makes them even better at the job. He also mentioned that the department needs people who reflect the community they serve. In their town, there are a lot of immigrants and people from different backgrounds. The chief said he wanted his team to look like the people in the community. Not just in appearance, but in life experience too. For him, it was about building trust and showing that the police department stands for fairness, growth, and real change. Of course, the chief didn't pretend the decision was simple. He admitted there were risks, and not everyone would agree. But he stood by his choice. He said he'd rather give someone a chance to make a difference than shut the door on them forever because of a single mistake. In his eyes, that's what real leadership is about, looking at the whole person, not just their worst moment. As you might expect, the public reaction to the police chief's decision was mixed, and the conversation quickly grew louder both in town and online. Some people felt inspired by the story, saying it's proof that everyone deserves a second chance if they work for it. They pointed out that no one is perfect, and sometimes the best people to help others are those who know what it's like to struggle and make mistakes. Others, though, were more cautious. Some community members worried that this kind of hiring could send the wrong message. They asked if letting someone with a past legal problem join the police could weaken trust in the whole department. A few folks wondered what would happen if other officers made mistakes. Would they get the same chance, or was this a one-time thing? These questions kept coming up at local meetings and on social media. The conversation didn't stop at just this one town, either. Across the country, people started talking about what standards we should have for police officers. Should past mistakes always be a deal breaker, or is there room for forgiveness and growth? A lot of people shared stories of their own, or stories from friends and family, about turning their lives around after a bad decision. Others said the law should be the law, especially for those who are supposed to enforce it. In the middle of all this noise, the man at the heart of the story tried to keep his head down and do his job. He said he wanted to prove to the community, every single day, that he could be trusted and that he really had changed. For him, it was about making up for his mistake by serving the people around him, protecting them, and setting a new example. This whole debate shows just how complicated questions about justice, forgiveness, and second chances can be. There aren't always easy answers, but it's clear that more and more people are talking about what fairness really means. At the end of the day, maybe that's a good thing. It forces all of us to think about what kind of community we want to build, and whether we believe in the power of people to learn, grow, and change for the better.